Hello everyone and welcome back to my space. My name is Miss Orare. Today we'll be talking about one very nice document by the name Building Bridges Initiative. Welcome. The Building Bridges to a United Kenya is a result of a handshake between our president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. The main aim of this handshake is to heal the atrocities that we have faced, the challenges that we have faced as a country over time. Our issues ran from immediately after independence. Immediately, their fathers, that is Oginga Odinga and Jomo Kenyatta, got differences. Our country was set at a platform where we eventually had to just adopt differences from them till to date. Looking at the world in general, you realize that as we approach electioneering periods, the true nature of a people appears. For us here in Kenya, tribalism is always an issue that comes about as we approach elections. We tend to go into our tribal cocoons for mobilization, for campaigns, and even to front our leaders who get to become national leaders. In, for example, Uganda, you realize that right now, we get to realize that, they are actually a military state. The United States, the issue of racism and segmentation was seen when we approached elections. So as Kenyans, we need to actually call ourselves to that realization and realize that right now, because me and you are either in our 20s or in our early 30s, that this country is going to be our country for the next 20 years. And we need to appreciate that we are the ones to model the country for it to be conducive and for it to be what we want to be in come that year. So with that said, we need to understand that the Building Bridges initiative affects me and you. And considering Kwanzaa, just to be realistic, the fact that you are here on YouTube, you're able to afford your bundles or either your Wi-Fi, and you're able to sit down and watch me, I believe that you have a KRA PIN. I believe that you have a working either identity card or a passport. That means that there's some level of, responsibility that the government owes to you. And so, as it is making a decision such as this, and as it is aiming to touch different segments of our lives, the economy, our social spectrum, our political spectrum that actually boils down to everything that you do, it is only right that you pick the document. It is only right that you develop some level of interest to this topic. After the handshake, 9 points were narrowed down by the task force that were worked upon that brought about the propositions that have been fronted by the Building Bridges document. This included, just to mention a few, equality and equity, competency. We talked about the issue of our economy in general and the issue of young people, the issue of representation, and lately, 2020, you cannot afford to go by without mentioning the effects of COVID-19. So these were the issues that were looked at, and they were looked at in the point of how do they really touch the day-to-day Kenyan, probably even from their family level, because we realize that we're even looking at addressing our education system to ensure that we have kids who are able to actually come out being patriotic citizens and wholesome citizens. So these are the points that actually drive the agenda when it came to the task force and the recommendations that it put across. So we really need to actually acquaint ourselves with, the points and get to work on them, understand them, and even if you do not support what the document will say, I hope that you will be able to understand them and live by them and work on them at an individual level. I implore you to adopt the things that, appeal to you in the document, and as we go along, I hope that this sets the stage for us to discuss the points of disagreement. I will be hosting a few people here and there, politicians, policymakers, and experts in different fields to discuss about the issues that have been raised, the points, and the implementation plans. The Building Bridges has made recommendations that will touch different aspects of our lives as Kenyans. It will touch on us as citizens, our responsibilities. It will touch on our rights. It will touch on the rights of the marginalized, that is the women, and the persons living with disabilities. It will touch on our judiciary. It will touch on our executive. It will touch on even our economy in general. There's a question if the young people are a special segment in our society. We will have that conversation with the Building Bridges initiative. And as you and me actually ask ourselves if, as young people, our future is certain and it is given in this republic, we should be able to shape this narrative and see if that we can take advantage, and full advantage for that matter, thanks to the Building Bridges initiative. You may hate some parts of it, you may love some parts of it, but you like it or not, the Building Bridges initiative is setting a conversation that is going to affect you. So therefore, as a young person in this country who has had the privilege, of accessing what you have accessed, the privilege of being an intellect, of understanding how things work, I do actually employ you and ask you, and I would really beg you, but it is your responsibility. Take some time. Don't just wait for your party leader, your ethnic leader, or even, your husband or your boyfriend to read it for you. For some of us, they will wait for their girlfriends to read it for them, but, well, we don't say. But if it is your personal responsibility to actually read it. So take time with it and know that it will affect your day-to-day life. Your dreams are tied to the Building Bridges initiative. The dreams of the people you love are attached to the Building Bridges initiative. And the world where your kids and your great-grandkids will come to live in is tied to the Building Bridges initiative. Kindly, I ask you, don't make it a burden for Rebecca Kemunto only to push the agenda, or even our president or the right honorable prime ministers or our political leaders. As you go to buy your kales or your tomatoes from Mama Mboga, tell her something, one or two. As you're riding on your taxi, talk about it. When you go to work, mention it. Make sure it's a conversation that you can have soberly. It's a conversation that we can have openly, as our president said. And it is a conversation that we need to be realistic and say that, hey, it is high time that we need to take the mantle. So hate it or love it. The Building Bridges initiative is a document that you should read and make sure that we all work towards a united Kenya. My name is Miss Orare. Till next time, thank you. Bye-bye.